Hello students, all of you are doing good. So today it's a very interesting video. I am going to cover these 4 topics on zero polynomial or zero of a polynomial. तो आपका एग्जाम में ये very common question आता है, zero polynomial or zero of a polynomial. So if you understand this video, you will be able to solve any question on zero polynomial or zero of a polynomial. So let's start it. तो क्या क्या टॉपिक आज मैं कवर करूंगा इसमें. नंबर 1, व्हाट इज जीरो ऑफ अ पॉलिनोमियल. नंबर 2 इज नंबर ऑफ जीरो इन अ पॉलिनोमियल. नंबर 3 इज जीरो पॉलिनोमियल. व्हाट इज जीरो पॉलिनोमियल. सो नंबर 1 इज जीरो ऑफ अ पॉलिनोमियल. नंबर 3 इज जीरो पॉलिनोमियल. नंबर 4 इज जीरो ऑफ अ जीरो पॉलिनोमियल. ओके, नाउ दिस इज अ पॉलिनोमियल ऑफ x px a0 plus a1x plus a2x square a3x cube anx up to anxn, right? Now let's understand zero of a polynomial. I am considering, let's say I am considering this part of the polynomial, that means first 3 terms a0 plus a1x plus a2x square. So if I consider these 3 terms only, then it's a quadratic polynomial. So degree of the polynomial is 2. What is degree of the polynomial? Degree of the polynomial means the highest power of the variable in that polynomial, that is the degree of the polynomial. Now zero of a polynomial, इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Zero of a polynomial means एक polynomial में जो variable होगा वो variable का कौन सा value के लिए polynomial का value 0 होता है. Now let's understand with an example. Now this is one polynomial x square minus 5x plus 6. If I ask you to find out in a simple term, forget about polynomial. ये जो इक्वेशन x स्क्वायर माइनस 5x प्लस 6, ये इक्वेशन का वैल्यू मतलब ये पॉलिनोमियल का वैल्यू 0 होगा x का कौन कौन वैल्यू के लिए. दैट मीन्स आपको फाइंड आउट करना पड़ेगा x स्क्वायर माइनस 5x प्लस 6 इक्वल्स टू 0. What are the values of x will satisfy this equation? That means from the quadratic equation, you know what is how to find out the value. One of the method is factorization. So if I factorize this x square minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0, we can write it down like this: x minus 3 into x minus 2 equals to 0. That means either x equals to 3 or x equals to 2. So zero of a polynomial means ये polynomial x square minus 5x plus 6, ये polynomial का value 0 होगा अगर x equals to 3 और x equals to 2 होगा. So zero of a polynomial means the value of the variable in a polynomial for what the polynomial becomes 0. So here the variable is x in this polynomial, and the for x equals to 3 or x equals to 2, the polynomial x square minus 5x plus 6, it becomes 0. So therefore x equals to 3 and or x equals to 2. So these two are the zero of a polynomial. So zero of a polynomial is x equals to 3 and x equals to 2. Any of these two. And next topic is number of zero in a polynomial. मतलब जीरो ऑफ अ पॉलिनोमियल मींस कौन सा रूट जो है, मतलब रूट एक्चुअली इट इज आस्किंग टू फाइंड आउट द रूट. सो नंबर ऑफ जीरो इन अ पॉलिनोमियल मींस फॉर व्हिच हाउ मेनी वैल्यूज ऑफ द वेरिएबल द पॉलिनोमियल बिकम्स 0. सो यहां पे क्या देख रहा हूं हम लोग, ये दोनों वैल्यू जो है x इक्वल्स टू 3 और x इक्वल्स टू 2, ये दो वैल्यू के लिए ये पॉलिनोमियल का वैल्यू 0 हो रहा है. सो वेरिएबल का जितना वैल्यू के लिए पॉलिनोमियल का वैल्यू 0 होगा उतना वही वैल्यू होगा नंबर ऑफ 0. मतलब कितना वैल्यू है वेरिएबल का जिसके लिए ये पॉलिनोमियल 0 हो रहा है, वही नंबर ऑफ 0 इन अ पॉलिनोमियल. ओके, सो नाउ दिस इज द algebraic expression. Now I'll show you how to find out zero of a polynomial, how to find out the number of 0 in a polynomial from a graphical representation where you will not be given any equation, just from the graph you need to tell. Okay, see this graph. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, right? Now this is a parabola. So this equation, the polynomial, this is a just I'm asking it is where it could be any in any form. So this is a graphical representation of a polynomial of x, right? That means for which value of x you are asked to find out the number of 0 from the graphical representation. It could be MCQ, multiple choice question. Mostly it comes as a multiple choice question. What is the number of 0? That means for how many values of x, for how many, because it's a polynomial of x, p of x, that means a polynomial of x. So x is the independent, that is x the variable, and px, that is the dependent variable, right, function of x, right? So now for how many number of values of x the polynomial px becomes 0? What does it mean? Px is the graph, this is px, this curve is the px. So for how many number of values of x the polynomial becomes 0 means we can see the value of the polynomial px, that means it is y. Px means it's a function of x. Since it's polynomial, we are writing like this p of x, otherwise we write like this y equals to fx. Y is a function of x. So here p is a function of x, right? So for how many values of x y becomes 0, p becomes 0 or y becomes 0, that means for which value y is 0, for how many times y is 0, we can see from this graph, this is the point, this is one time, right? This is for once, this is the point where y equals to 0, px equals to 0, right? So here px equals to 0. So number of 0 here it is, you can be given given multiple choice 1, 4, 0, 3, some or does not exist. So here it is 1. Number of zeros it is 1. If the graph is like this, let's say the graph is moving like this. Let's say the graph is moving like this. So how many times? And this is px and this is px. So how many times it is px, value of px is 0? There are 4 points we can see from the given graphical representation. What are those? This is 1. This is 1. This is second one. This is the third one. This is the fourth one. So these 4 points, the value of y is 0 where it is intersecting x-axis. That means here the number of zeros will be 4. So either it will be asked to find out the number of zeros or if it is asking to find out the 0 polynomial, then definitely an equation will be given. If it is asking to find out the number of 0 in a polynomial, it could be either from the algebraic expression or from the graphical representation. Understood? Now 0 polynomial. What is 0 polynomial? 0 polynomial means not the value of the variable for what the polynomial is 0. 0 polynomial means where the value of the polynomial is 0 because of all the coefficients a0, a1, a2, a3, all the value of the coefficients are 0. That is what the 0 polynomial. So 0 polynomial is the value of the polynomial 0 because of all the coefficients are 0, and that is where the value of the entire polynomial is a constant term. Okay, that means here it is in a polynomial, if a0 equals to a1 equals to a2 up to equals to an equals to 0. If all the value of the coefficient in a polynomial are 0, that means anything 0 into anything means 0. Entire polynomial will be 0. So there is no question of variable in that case, right? So when it is asking 0 of a 0 polynomial, 0 of a polynomial means what have I said? The value of the variable for what the value of the polynomial becomes 0. Here it is saying 0 of a 0 polynomial. 0 of a polynomial, what I explained, 0 of a 0 polynomial means for a 0 polynomial there is no question of any value of the variable 0 because all the coefficients are 0. Because of that, the entire polynomial becomes 0. So the value of the 0 polynomial means the value of the variable of that polynomial. For a 0 polynomial, it cannot be 0. It is undefined, because if the variable is not there, then how come the 0 of a 0 polynomial exists? 0 of a 0, 0 means root of that polynomial. So root entire polynomial becomes 0, because everywhere it is a0 0, a1 0 means a1x0, a2 0 means a2x squared 0, up to an 0 means an x to the power n equals to 0. That means no existence of the variable. So basically 0 of a 0 polynomial is undefined. Got it? So this is the difference between 0 of a polynomial versus 0 polynomial versus 0 of a 0 polynomial. So again I explain quickly. 0 of a polynomial means for which value of the variable in a polynomial, the polynomial value becomes 0, that is the 0 polynomial. The value of that variable for what the polynomial becomes 0, that is the 0 polynomial. Number of 0 in a polynomial, for how many values of the variable in a polynomial, the polynomial becomes 0. That is the number of zeros. That means number of roots for what the value of the polynomial becomes 0. What is 0 polynomial? For 0 polynomial, the entire all the coefficients in the polynomial, it becomes 0. Therefore, the entire polynomial becomes 0. So 0 of a polynomial, it is a condition for which value of the variable the polynomial becomes 0. But 0 polynomial, so all the other than 0 of a polynomial, also there are other values in the polynomial. But 0 of a 0 polynomial means entire polynomial, it's a fixed value, constant value, that is 0. So 0 polynomial is a constant polynomial, that is 0, because always it is 0. And 0 of a 0 polynomial, the value of the variable is undefined, because there is no value of the there is no variable at all. Entire polynomial becomes 0. Got it? So you may have question from any of these 4 topics, just tweaking the questions. And graphical representation to find out the number of zeros in a polynomial, it is a very, very important one. So there the equation will not be given, just you need to see for how many points. If it is saying polynomial of y, p of y, that means there the y is the independent variable. Let's say this is another graphical representation. Don't get confused. Always you need to see which is the independent and which is the dependent. If it is saying instead of px, it is saying p of y. That means y is the independent variable. It is a polynomial of y. From here, if it is asked from here find out the zeros of the polynomial. That means for which value of y the polynomial becomes 0. So for which value of y x is 0. So that means here you have 2 polynomials for where x equals to 0. This is along the y-axis. Earlier it was like this. It is p of x. Here it is p of y. So when it is p of x, polynomial of x, how many values of x, px becomes 0. That means y becomes 0. Here it is polynomial of y, that means for how many values of y x becomes 0, because it is an x and y axis it is given. So it is everything is in terms of x and y. So for how many values of y the x becomes 0, py, x equals to py. Here it is x equals to py, x is a function of y. Here it is y is a function of x, polynomial of x. Got it? So here if it may be asked like this, p of y, then you don't get confused. You just understand p of y means polynomial of y. That means y is the independent variable. So for which value of y the polynomial becomes 0 means for which value of y x becomes 0. That means along the y-axis it is intersecting y-axis twice, these 2 points. These 2 points, that means there are 2 number of 0 in this polynomial. And here it is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 number of zeros in the polynomial where it is px in this graphical representation. Got it? So I hope you understand the concept for these 4, and most of the cases you will get question in your CBSE board exam or ICSE board exam. This is a very important topic. Just to understand, you can solve any question in this regard. So if you like this video, please click on the like button. And if you want to have this kind of video, or you want to see this kind of class again and again and to get the notification, please subscribe my YouTube channel Dev's Learning Hub, and the same in this Dev's Learning Hub you follow the my Facebook page. Thank you very much.